Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season 11. We're here for round 8 out of 20. It's the Spanish Grand Prix at Catalunya, Barcelona, where we have the drivers heading out onto the track, as usual, for the 18-minute qualifying session. First out onto the track is Charlie then. He'll be hoping to score more points on the board. I think his only points finished so far this season has been the opening round where he finished 6th. He may have finished 10th last time out, actually, in Italy. I think he did, actually. So yeah, 9 points to his name. He'll be hoping to get into double digits after this race. Behind him, we have the Mercedes of Eggy, who has been on a consistent run of podiums in the last 3 races, which has propelled him up to 2nd in the championship now, trailing only 2 points off the lead. And we head to this track where this time last season he did take the lead of the championship after the race due to his consistency as well. Behind him is the Williams of Kobe, race winner last time out in a very satisfying drive that saw not really any pressure applied to putting him any lower than first, really. So he's heading into Spain as one of the favourites. He is 6th in the championship on 65 points, 3 points off 4th and 5th, who are tied on 68. He trails the championship leader by 30 points, but Kobe certainly has proven to be one of the quickest, as off in the background. That is Adam about to begin his lap, and it seems like the final corner is going to be catching a few people out, whether they take the inside curb and lose it or they just run too wide. Especially in dirty air in the race, I feel like the last corner is going to catch a few people out with warnings and pens. But there we go. Adam, who has been certainly a contender, 3 points ahead of Kobe on 68 points, has won twice this season. Yeah, not the way you would have wanted to start qualifying. So after him, on track would have been, I believe, Christian, who had a career best qualifying of P2 last time out in Monza. Unfortunately, dropped down the order and scored 2 points, unfortunately. He's heading into this one, he says, with very little practice, is spinning round. That's Kobe. Another corner that's flat has caught out another driver. And it seems like this Spanish Grand Prix track is catching quite a few people out, it seems, at turn 9. As Eggy does a 12.8 as a banker ahead of Charlie by nearly a second. And wow, so that's 2 big names already making big mistakes there. It seems like this corner might also, at least on last game, caught a few people out. But it seems like the last and turn 9 are being big factors here. That's kind of throwing everything out of the water a bit. We have Yannick in the RB making his debut today. And it looks like he's going to be full-time in the RB. As unfortunately Bluey will be leaving the league. Today was supposed to be his last race, but it seems like he's got issues with his Game Pass, and he's not able to join, which is a real shame. I mean, we'll still wait until the end of qualifying. We're still waiting on the Dutch Dodo as well to join, but like always, he never really does, because he's got issues or something. I don't really know. But yeah, at the moment, Eggy still the lead car, a quarter of a tenth ahead of Evan. It was a very disappointing Italian Grand Prix for him. Ending with retirement, as that's a slide for Evan. So that's 3 big names at 3 different corners who have made a mistake, and that was Evan on an outlap, as he just avoids the cars when he rejoins the track, as there's still a car behind him. Scrooge goes P5. So yeah, Eggy and Evan quite the gap to Charlie, who's ahead of Yannick, and then Grush, who's level on 65 points. As Christian, he goes 3rd. Really good lap time from him. Yeah, Grush, due to his consistency as well, has put him level on points with Adam on 65, joint 4th in the championship. We've got Samurai, championship leader, who, like always this season, does a lap and then does a lap straight after that. That's much, much quicker, as Adam goes P3 after that slide. Those tyres aren't going to be in the greatest shape, so to only be a 10th and a half off, not too bad. Chubster goes P3, the second Mercedes driver. He goes P5, 3 tenths off. So we see what Samurai can do. 1.1 up as his teammate, Kobe, has gone into the gravel, and Samurai makes it the top 3 within 44 thousandths. As, Kobe has now done what Adam did at the final corner, and he's gone off too, which is going to wreck his lap that he was about to begin. So Eggy just about ahead of Evan, just about ahead of Samurai, very close between them. Then comes Adam, Christian, Chubster, Charlie, Yannick on debut, currently P8, Grush P9. We've got Warren in the Haas, served his qualifying ban last week, managed to make his way up to, I believe it was 8th, or something like that. Adam also, another retiree from last week, along with Evan, got caught up in the opening lap carnage that sent him down the order. Then he sped in the pit lane, and he was I think he was only going to get 10th at best, but then he decided to retire in the pit lane. Kobe, who still has to set a proper lap time. 3 poles to Evan so far this season, 2 poles for Kobe, 1 pole for Eggy, and 1 pole for Samurai. So 3, 2, 1, 1, I believe. Let's double check that. That was Yannick improving his time up to 7th, only 6 tenths off. Very good stuff. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, 1. Yeah, 3 poles for Evan. Japan, Bahrain, and Qatar. 2 poles for Kobe, Saudi, and Italy. 1 pole for Samurai, the opening round in Australia, and 1 pole for Eggy 2 weeks ago in Imola, and he's currently on provisional pole. As for the winners, we've had 3 drivers take 2 wins so far this season, and 1 driver with 1 win. Samurai with the 1 win at the season opener. And then in the last 6 races, it's been 3 drivers, each with 2 wins. Adam with 2 wins, Evan with 2 wins, Kobe with 2 wins. And that's the top 11. As for Dello, he's the only one not to set an actual lap on the board, and he's still in the pit lane, is the Ferrari driver who had a chance at scoring his first podium at Ferrari's home race last week. Didn't exactly go his way. He ended up finishing, I believe it was 5th in the end, which I think is his career best finish. 4th or 5th, something like that. Eggy on his outlap, the 5 behind him still in the pit lane. Garouche in the middle sector currently. Yannick back in the pits. Charlie finishing the first sector split. Warren on the hard compound tyres for some reason. But he always does that, to be fair. Pit lane entry is a bit interesting for some drivers. I'm sure most of them will be able to take it well. We always get someone who just, on really worn tyres, goes too deep into the wall. And as much as we haven't had a VSC or a safety car for a few races now, Spain always does serve up something when it comes to league racing. On F1 25 in Tier 2, we'll see what it is for this time round. Anyway, Eggy about to begin his second run. 9.5 minutes left on the clock then. Round the final corner. Takes it a lot better than a few we've seen so far. DRS open, and he'll begin his second run. One of the longest runs down to turn 1. And a heavy braking zone down to gear 4. Around the 100 metre board between the 50. You get to the first curb and take a lot of the second curb as well. He's taking that very nicely indeed. Flat through turn 3 using the battery. It's good to stay on the inside line like Eggy's doing just there. It's a great first sector. Has he found any time? He's found half a tenth. Diving into turn 4, and he's taking the car a little bit wider, but to put the traction down into turn 5 as well. Bit wide, however, slightly misses the apex. Gets on the power, so close to invalidating there on the exit. Now uphill through the 6-7 chicane. Very tricky to get right, especially with that yellow curb on the exit. It can send you off to the left, flat through turn 8. Simple enough. DRS open and now shut for the middle sector. He's up by 35 thousandths now. Wide through turn 9 and 10. Corners keep coming at you, and then it's now foot flat to the floor for the final couple corners. Penultimate corner done. 1 corner to go then for Eggy, who's up by slight amounts. Just keeps it within the track limits. Crosses the line, but he doesn't improve, unfortunately. Half a tenth up, 37 thousandths up, 35 thousandths up, 37 thousandths down in the end. So he can't best the 12.8. What about Samurai then? As he finishes the first sector split, he's down by 100th. So these fine margins, as Evan still in the pit lane. I don't think he'll have time to go for a second and third run. It'll be close unless he leaves right now. What about Adam crossing the line? Adam now goes to provisional pole by 4/10 ahead of Eggy. Great lap from Adam, who's never been on pole position in EXFL Tier 2 before. He has 4 wins, but 0 poles. What can the rest do? What can Williams do? As Kobe is about to head round the final corner. He's up on his time. 51.5 in the middle sector. What can he do across the line? It's at 13.5 to stay P10. That's a bit of a shock from the man who's looked so dominant in all 3 races he's done so far this season. He's been on the front row in every race he's done so far this season. What about Samurai then? 12.4 is the time to beat. Can he at least get it on the front row? He can, and he finds just over a 10th. But that's a 3/10 margin to Adam. A very fine lap time from Adam. Will that be enough to give him his first ever pole position in Tier 2? What about others such as Chubster? Looks like he's not on a lap. Christian, 12.9. I believe he may have just started his lap. Kobe, he might be going again. 10th down in the first sector. Warren just ahead of him, a second up in the middle sector. Kobe, he's up by a 10th, which would really only see him up to 8th. That's a hit into the wall, I think, from someone. Adam in. Samurai probably heading in too. Chubbs will do the same. Christian down slightly in the first sector. We'll look back to Kobe then. Unless he's made a big mistake in the last sector, we will not know until the end. As across the line is Warren for P8. Dello still in the pit lane. Christian down by 3/4 of a 10th in the first sector. Up by nearly 2/10 in the middle sector. And if you can see from 6th up to 2nd, there's only a few tenths in it. Christian went into Italy. A lot of practice, a lot of confidence. Oh, as he's invalidated, unfortunately, I was about to say. Had gone into Spain with not much practice and still could maybe get it on the front row, but he's unfortunately invalidated. And with 5.5 minutes to go, at least he knows the time is there to find. And that makes everyone bar Warren in the pit lane with 5 minutes 20 to go. But Warren will be heading into the pit lane too, and exiting the pit lane is Grush into turn 1. Grush, who has had 2 podiums so far this season. One in Japan, the 1/2 stop race, and one last week in Italy, again, the 1/2 stop race. He seems to be really good at handling his tyres to make sure the 1-stop goes his way. Same with Eggy, because those were the 2 who did the 1-stop last time out and got the podium due to it. So also out there is Charlie. So 1 second covers the top 10. 7/10 covers second down to 10th. So yeah, that's a very good margin for Adam to have. It's the same margin between 6th and 7th, pretty much. As that's Warren just heading into the pit. No, it's not. It's him carrying on. But it looks like he's picked up a lot of gravel. So he's going to go again. He should be able to get back in the pits and go out again with 4 minutes 20 left. It depends on his fuel. But now we're going to see Grush gear up for what could be his final run in qualifying. Very early time to be doing so. But he'll cross the line then. He's 8/10 down on Adam. And I believe Grush's best qualifying so far this season has been, I think, 5th. As he dives into turn 1. The car looking very bumpy. And he's taken a bit too much curve that sends him slightly wide. But he carries the momentum nonetheless through turn 3. Very wide on the exit. Finishes the first set to split. Up by 7 thousandths, these slight increments of time, as that's a 0.5 in the first sector. Through turn 4, navigates it very well. Can he hit the apex? Slightly, but a little bit of a lock-up hinders him. On the exit now, towards turn 6. There's 6. Through 7 and 8. Takes it very cautiously, it seems. Now flat through 9. DRS open, middle sector split coming up. Has he found more time? Yes, he has. Just over a 10th and a half. Bit of a lock-up into 10, but it takes it. He carries on through 11. People have been struggling on the exit here to keep it valid. No issue for Grush. 1 corner to go then. And where can he get up to? He needs 2.5 tenths to even improve his own position. He'll cross the line, and he will find enough time in that last sector to put himself P5. So he found the time in those last 4 corners. Yeah, that was a couple, two and a bit tenths there he found. So great stuff from Grush to put himself right in the fight. Look how close that all is. As Charlie improves to P8, 8 tenths off. He was where Grush was before he did his time. And what about Adam then? With 2.5 minutes to go, the provisional pole sitter is going even quick. He's found half a tenth, also a 0.5 in the first sector. However, he's kicked up a bit of grass on his tyres, which could lose him some time. And he's got the Red Bull of Grush ahead, who should get out the way. And he does. So Adam, who has a comfortable 3/10 margin, but is it comfortable enough? He's really attacking the corners here. And we're about to see in the middle sector split if it's done him justice or has he lost some time. Middle sector split then coming up. Is Adam quicker? Slightly. He's lost 14 thousandths though to his first sector split. Or more like 17. So it looks like he could still potentially extend his lead. But a bit of a wobble on the third last corner. He's really attacking this car and he's deciding to bail out. And it looks like he did lose the 37 thousandths. So he will not improve. So that gives the opportunity to Samurai, Eggy and Evan, Chubster and Christian, who are all on outlaps. As it looks like Grush is going to go again with 1 minute 24 to go. As you can see, that's it for Adam. 12.4. Is that enough to get his first pole in Tier 2? Or what can the rest do? Evan has began his final lap. Yannick, what about him? He's up slightly in the first sector with a 7. And he's up by 3/10 in the middle with a 0.1, which could see him potentially around 8th or 7th as the two Mercedes begin their final run. And Dello, for the first time this session, will get his one and only lap time done. So this counts for Dello. And round the final corner for Kobe. He's got wing damage, I think, as Kobe. Look at that. He's lost his right end plate. He's up by a 10th in the first sector. He's going to invalidate. Kobe's going to start this race potentially last. As across the line for Warren. He'll be the last one to start his lap time. So as that's Grush, I believe, who's gone for a spin in 5th. Yannick on his debut has gone up to 6th. It's quite close between all them. So the lead car, Evan, what can he do in the middle sector split? It's looking very good for Evan, who's up by half a second here, who's got the most poles of the season, who's for the last few races not exactly been able to get the final lap done. This time round, he's looking great, and he's only got a few corners left. Has Navik, who dropped from 2nd to 3rd in the championship, coming into Catalonia. He wants to be back on the top. Round the final corner to deny Adam his first pole. Evan with a 12.2, now on provisional pole by 2/10 ahead of Adam. What can the Mercedes do then? Evan, P1, Eggy currently 4th, Chubster 7th, will cross the line. Goes up to 4th ahead of Eggy. Eggy's found some time though. It might not be enough for pole. He comes across the line. He goes 3rd now. And we'll see the McLaren of Christian, who's unfortunately invalidated. And what about Dello? His one and only time in this lap. And he's invalidated too. What about the Williams though? Samurai crosses the line. He stays where he is in P4. And I think it's just Warren left now, who's down slightly. And he'll cross the line then. And just about keeps it valid there. But will he stay 10th? He will. And that is it. Evan, right at the end, with a brilliant lap time to put himself on pole position. Number 4 of the season and his career by 2/10 ahead of Adam. Once again, it'll be the front row, but it will not be pole for the Haas. Eggy P3. They had a little bit of a gap to Samurai, who's overall still had a good qualifying. But is the two closest to him in the championship of Evan and Eggy are 1st and 3rd. Chubster will be, I think, pleased with the top 5 start. Grush 6th. Yannick on debut with a P7 start. I'm sure he were happy with that. Christian P8. Solid, considering there was a few tenths in it. He could have been right up to maybe 4th. Charlie 9th. Warren 10th. That is a shock, though. The shock of qualifying. Kobe down in 11th. Considering his 3 races so far this season have been 2nd, 1st and 1st. In qualifying, 11th was not what he was expecting. And yeah, Dello, he only had 1 run at the end and he couldn't get it together. So we're just waiting for Evan to retire in the pits. Evan saying about time he had a pole again, I'm sure. But that's the job half done. Just hope my confidence doesn't screw me over. No, to be honest, I think Evan's got the confidence today. He's looking very good. So yeah, that's qualifying. But it is a long run down to turn 1. We got some big names. The 2 drivers who retired last week have locked out the front row. Just showing that they will want to bounce back with their performance. and they've certainly done just that. Adam didn't quite get his last run together. I don't know if it really would have been good enough for 2/10. Evan really punched out the best lap of them all. I mean, a 12.2. Tier 1... I mean, Tier 1 will probably be doing 11s. 11, I don't know. 6s, 5s, 7s, 8s, something like that. Still, very good lap from Evan. And I didn't see any message of weather, so I'm assuming from our pictures here that it's also going to be a dry race. 33 laps ahead of us. But yeah, formation lap, obviously, before the race begins, where they'll just get the temp in. And before that, right now, they're on the grid, changing their strategy, fuel loads, any setup tweaks they can make within Parc Fermé. Yeah, long run down to turn 1. Who's going to get the best launch? Who's going to have a slight toe? Could Adam get Evan into turn 1? Could Eggy have a good run with the slipstream of the pair of them? What can Samurai do from 4th, potentially? And yeah, how far up the order can Kobe manage? Well, we can hear the ticking noises. The formation lap is about to begin. And at the very last second, I think Evans changed from softs to mediums there. Right, formation lap will begin then. And we'll see what the tyres are. A bit of a mix throughout the 12 drivers. So we have half of the drivers on mediums, which is Evan, Chubster, Grush, Christian, and the 6th row of Kobe and Dello. We have 5 drivers who are certainly going to want to gain through the field on softs of Warren, Charlie, Yannick, Samurai, and Eggy. So the top 3 are all on 3 different compounds, which is going to be very interesting. And the only driver who's not on softs or mediums is Adam on the hard compound tyres. This helps Evan slightly, because if he can get a good enough launch, as long as Eggy doesn't get a really good launch with the softs, he can hold on while Adam comes under big pressure from 2 drivers behind on softs. Unless Eggy can get that good of a launch at the start that he could take the lead. But I don't really see a world where Adam could potentially take the lead on those hards. But you never know. So this could be interesting with the strategy, because Tier 2 tends to opt more with the 2-stop than the 1-stop. And those who are on softs, Eggy, Samurai, Yannick, Charlie and Warren, it really does seem like they will do a 2-stop. I don't see how they're going to do soft hard or anything. They might do soft medium medium or something. But those who are on mediums, especially Adam as well on hards, they look like they're going to opt more for the 1-stop. It seems anywhere from lap 14 to 18 would be good for the 1-stop, depending on your tyre. Adam needs to go long into this race if he wants that 1-stop to be quick at the end. But you never know with the mediums, if they're just going to do what the soft runners are doing, medium, medium, soft, instead of their soft, medium, medium. But first, we'll see how they get on the grid. If any of them fail their markings, is Evan going to point to Adam slightly, or is he going to go straight? Looks pretty straight. Adam, same. Eggy as well. It all looks like they've done their parking pretty well. Samurai a bit late to his. Chubster's already in hits. Dello has failed his. And Warren right to the back. Looks like no one's failed theirs yet. Warren has gone way too deep on his marks. But yeah, here we go then. We're here in Barcelona. We're in Barcelona as the 5 lights come on for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Evan versus Adam off the line, and Eggy with those soft compound tyres already past Adam in the slipstream of Evan as we head down to turn 1. Evan goes defensive. Eggy's going to have to go round the outside using the soft compound tyres. Round the outside goes Eggy, but Evan covers him off. And Samurai goes wide there, and it looks like he's going to 3rd, but he'll give the place back to Adam, who's managed to hold on to P3. And 3 wide with Yannick on debut, trying to get the pair of them to the inside. It's nearly 3 wide between them. Who's going to come out in front? Looks like Adam just ahead of Samurai, and Yannick still on the inside. Amazing, they've managed to keep it 3 wide through turn 4 and 5. Adam backs out. Samurai to the inside, almost makes slight contact with Yannick. Both of them on the softs as we have a yellow at the back. It looks like Kobe, his weekend's gone from bad to worse. Samurai holds on to 3rd. Great start from Yannick up to 4th. Adam down to 5th, starting from 2nd as Navek just held on with the medium compound tyres ahead of Eggy and P2. Three runners in the top 4 on softs. Then Adam. Chubster loses a place down to 6th. Warren up to 7th. Christian stays where he is in 8th. Same with Charlie in 9th. Grush has dropped down to 10th after starting 6th. Dello up 1 place in 11th. And Kobe, unfortunately, had a yellow in turn 5. So yeah, his evening gets even worse, unfortunately. So he's going to definitely have to try and gain his way back through the field. Biggest gainer at the start then is Yannick, up 3 places, and Warren up 3 places too. As we can see, all over the back of the Mercedes is Warren in the Haas. Chubster in a Haas sandwich there. Is Warren going to go to the inside? He's too far back for now. As we see Grush putting Charlie under a bit of pressure there. But yeah, that was great racing between the top 5. As that's Christian and Chubster. Chubster falling down the order there. He may have been tagged or something. Maybe with Warren, as Christian trying to get a second move to the inside of the Haas of Warren. And it looks like he's done it. But Warren's still there on the inside. And will he send it? He will, but he's rear locked, and that allows Christian to get ahead. Warren struggling on these opening laps. But yeah, top 5, great racing between them. Eggy tried round the outside, had the momentum, but Evan had the inside line to hold off. And then Samurai, Yannick and Adam, I don't know how they managed to make it and keep it 3 wide through turn 4 and a bit of 5 without contact. But yeah, great stuff from them as they have pulled away from the big scrap that was Christian, Warren and Chubster, who's down to 10th now as Kobe making his first overtake of the race then. Putting himself back up to where he started ahead of Dello. Bit of a slide, but he's got the move done. But he might come under pressure from Dello. They're still wheel to wheel, heading into the last corner. And he gets ahead, and that might be a warning for Dello. He has DRS. Kobe does not. As Warren flies back past Christian now, up into 6th. And there's Chubster putting Grush under pressure. Looks like he's got the move. Down into turn 1. Grush on the inside. Bit too much on the inside. As Dello gets ahead of Kobe. Now goes over the curb. Parks the bus. As Kobe tries to look for a gap, which isn't quite there. Makes Dello go slightly wide. So Chubster got ahead of Grush, who went onto the grass. And Dello, Kobe, unfortunately, drops back down to last. Look at that. Evan, on the mediums, absolutely flying, as it looks like Eggy's under big pressure from Samurai, and Yannick is right there. This is a great debut so far of him. Look how much Eggy's struggling. Look how much Evan is just pulling away from them. I know the softs are not that great, but geez, as Kobe now gets back ahead of Dello. And Yannick to the inside, trying to take P3 away from Samurai, the championship leader, versus the debutant. As he's sliding around the final couple corners. They're both wanting to be ahead so they can get Eggy on the straight. Adam watching this all unfold. It's not too bad for him considering he's on the hards. And he can keep with the 3 soft runners ahead of him. But Eggy with 67%. Samurai with 90. Yannick with 80. And Adam with 60. Can Samurai close in enough for a move on Eggy? It's going to be a late lunge. And he's not quite close enough. And Adam just sticking behind. So they're 2nd down to 5th. Warren's nearly caught these guys. And then Christian, Charlie, Chubster and Grush. Charlie, a bit out of shape there through turn 2 and round turn 3. Chubster has the run. He has the battery. He has the inside line. And it looks like he's going to have P8. Charlie hanging it round, but can't quite. And he loses the rear, unfortunately. 2, and that's going to send him off into the gravel and drop him down the order. As Adam now also has had a moment. And that drops him behind Warren, Christian and Chubster. Not great for the Ferrari-powered cars of the Sauber and the Haas. Don't know what happened to Adam there. He was at the back of the train from 2nd to 5th. So unless he's lost the car slightly, and that's unfortunate for Charlie too. Just lost it on his own, unfortunately. Evan, 4.4 now ahead of Eggy. Samuel will want to overtake him soon. He has to make sure he sticks with him, though. He has a full battery to use. And that frees up Yannick slightly. But Warren and Christian and Chubster and Adam and Grush, they've all managed to stick within DRS of one another. So from 2nd all the way down to now really 11th as Kobe and Dello join it. It's a DRS train as Samurai to the inside finally gets his move done on Eggy. And he's up in a 2nd. The top 3 in the World Championship. 1, 2 and 3. But in the wrong order. Samurai, championship leader in 2nd. Eggy, 2nd in the championship in 3rd. Evan, who's 3rd in the championship, doing exactly what he needs to do in the lead. Samurai on 95, Eggy on 93, Evan on 82. 13 points behind. And at the moment, he's doing well to close that gap back under 10 points into single digits. But yeah, second all the way down to 11th within DRS of one another. Look at this. See Samurai struggling a little, but here he's on the softs, Eggy's on the softs, Yannick's on the softs, Warren's on the softs, and well, Christian's the next car who could potentially be gaining some places. Not if he gets hit in the back by Chubster and goes wide, but right now it looks like he's all right as he's under pressure. Is Chubster from Adam, who's trying to go around the outside and can't quite get the move done. Christian should be within DRS to have not lost too much time. There's the detection point before heading into the last corner. Evan just comfortably out in front right now. Looks like the mediums were a good choice. And we don't really see any overtakes happening throughout the train at the moment. Grush trying to hang on with a bit of low battery. And Charlie, unfortunately, down in 12th. He did not pit after his spin. So he's going to be struggling with those tyres. Anyway, we look back. That's Yannick under pressure from Warren. We'll have another check as that's Dello getting past Kobe, who's made a mistake because he's going slowly there. Back down in 11th. Really not the race Kobe was after. So yeah, Warren really on the charge after starting 10th up to 5th now. The lead Haas in the race. And we'll look back. No penalties so far. 6 laps in as that's, I think that was Warren going wide. As Chubster and Christian battling. Chubster trying to make a move. This time doesn't run into the back of him. This time he's on the inside. And it looks like Chubster's going to get the move. These two on the mediums, the pair of them, slight contact. But it looks like Chubster, with the momentum, will be ahead. So he's now the second medium runner in the race. And now can Eggy strike back at Samurai. He's got battery, but so does Samurai, but he's got DRS. And it looks like Adam getting past Christian there on the straight. There goes Eggy round the outside. Kobe speeds into the pit lane, and Eggy back ahead of Samurai, and unfortunately Kobe has retired. That is the shock of qualifying and the shock of the race at the moment. Was fully expecting Kobe to be up there dominating like Evan is. But yeah, that's a shock. And hopefully he'll be back next time in Austria as they're all just getting a bit closer to one another, allowing Evan just to stretch his legs. So Eggy back ahead of Samurai. Yannick holding down the fort in 4th. Warren still 5th. Chubster in 6th. Adam struggling as he gets hit by Christian in 7th and 8th. And that's Grush in 9th, Dello in 10th. And unfortunately, Charlie just keeping the gap constant to these guys. Big DRS train. And, well, we're on lap 7. And for those who are on softs, they're going to pit pretty soon. Dello, first one with a 3-second pen. And diving down the inside is Adam, really getting his elbows out ahead of Chubb. So that was aggressive, but I think it just about worked out for him. As he, on the hard compound tyres, they're going to start to come into his own pretty soon. And he's got to make up for that mistake he made at turn 5. He's got his teammate ahead of him, though. And you can see the different types of inputs they're trying to do in the last corner. Considering dirty air is going to be a big factor here. And we can see Yannick under pressure from Warren. Warren might not be close enough at this moment in time. Eggy still holds P2. Warren goes deep into turn 1. Goes over the curb in 2. Is that going to allow his teammate to go around the outside? Switch to the inside. Or is Warren trying to let him go? Because they've kind of messed it up slightly. Chubster's watching this unfold. But now Adam is ahead of Warren, who looks like he was going to let his teammate go. So good teamwork from them. And Adam back up to where he was. And then he sorts some moves into 5. Look how close they're all getting. It's slight contact between them. But they're all trying to slow down. Christian wide there. As Dello and Grush watching all that unfold. Warren, he knows his softs are going to start falling off. Let's look back to tyres then. So yeah, the front of the DRS train all on softs apart from Adam. And then the rest are medium runners. So they're all going to be converging on one another soon. This seems to be a place on the track where a lot of the action is happening. This time round, single file. So Adam making move lap after lap. Remember, as Yannick slides this car slightly. As into the pit lane, Samurai. I was going to say Adam. A few races this season. The 2 races he's won have come from comeback drives. Starting 6th in Qatar, winning. Spinning in Imola, winning. And he's dropped down to 7th or 8th in this race. And right now, he's trying to take P3 away from Yannick to the inside. Goes Adam. That was committed. Good trust with Yannick, considering he's never raced him before in the league. But yeah, Adam up into P3 now. Good move on the RB. As, yeah, we saw Samurai, who's clearly going for the 2-stop, be the first to pit and undercut as Warren's left. Very unfortunate for the Haas, who's going to drop down to the back, I would assume, of this train. He was doing a great job. Hopefully he'll get back in the car soon. The game might even pit him at this rate. So yeah, Samurai pits onto the mediums. Will definitely be pitting again for what I'm assuming will be another set of mediums. So Eggy still hanging on to P2, but Evan has got a 10-second lead after just not being involved in the squabbles. And his great pace, his confidence has well and truly returned. And look at that. Eggy stays out. Yannick comes in the pit lane though. Making sure not to speed. This will be his first pit stop in EXFL Tier 2. Reserving for RB, and next week onwards he will get that RB seat. No moves ahead of him. So Yannick will come into the pit lane, also put the medium compound tyres on, and we're going to see just how powerful the undercut is. Because there is Samurai overtaking Yannick as he exits the pit lane. And there he goes, down into turn 1. That's a gap of nearly about 2 seconds, I would assume. And he heads into turn 1. Nearly 3 seconds. Wow. And you'd assume Evan's just going to be doing the one stop. And Adam. Adam will be quicker at the end to maybe close down. I didn't even realise Adam's got ahead of Eggy. And Eggy's under pressure from his teammate. So Adam now up into second, where he was on the front row. So he's great at this. Lost some ground, gained it back, and now he can begin his race properly. 9.4 seconds. The gap's going down slightly. Obviously, the hards are better than the mediums now. So Adam's got to try and close it. Evan will pit, gain a bit, and then Adam will pit and try and gain as much as he can back. Eggy surely will pit this lap. No, he won't. 11 laps on the softs. Same with Warren. The game has not pitted him. Wow. I'm surprised Warren hasn't rejoined. As that's the two Mercedes swapping. Chubster easily gets past Eggy. Just inviting Warren one more time. So yeah, Chubster now up into third. While all these guys stay out, that's allowing Samurai to get a pretty good undercut on the pair on all of them, and getting quite a nice gap. He's currently 28 seconds off these guys. He's increased it to 4 seconds over Yannick. And the gap staying a bit constant between Evan and Adam. Chubster nearly getting Eggy out of sight of a second. If Eggy's really going to try and do the one stop here of softs to hards, well, he's gone a third of the race on the softs. So what's stopping him from doing the other 2/3 on hards? At the moment, it looks like softs may have been a bit of a mistake to start the race on if he's going to go this long into the race. And Evan proving that he's probably going for the one stop. Same with Adam. Chubster carries around, and Eggy, he's going around again. And it looks like, even though there's a bit of a train, it looks like they're all separated. Warren's AI finally pits. As that's Eggy now getting overtaken by Christian. Looks like he just doesn't have the grip at the moment on those really worn softs. So Christian's done a pretty good job so far. As Samurai carries on, Yannick will be ahead of Warren, who will pit onto the mediums. As that's Dello and Grush fighting. They were 10th and 11th, and now I think Dello's just gone to the inside of Grush there and has slid. I think Grush left him enough room. Hasn't lost them too much. I mean, Grush is outside of a second of Eggy. So it's lost both of them a few tenths. Charlie ahead of Warren now. Pitted a few laps earlier. It's good to see him still running in the race. 8.7 now the gap's down to. So Adams gained 7 tenths. And Evan should be pitting in the next 2 laps or so. Lap 14, 15 seems to be ideal. Anywhere now would be quite early. And yeah, for Eggy's sake, he's well, if he wants to pit for hards at the end, he's got to kind of just manage these tyres. And you can see how much time he's losing. He's lost about 6 seconds from where he was with Adam. And finally, he goes into the pits. And it's going to be interesting to see how far he is behind Samurai. The rest pretty spread out. And Eggy does pit onto the hards, so he is going to try and make the one-stop work. Samurai's already passed him. And so will Yannick. Eggy will be in free air, though. as Charlie's a bit too far behind. But Eggy, remember, he's on the hards. Yannick and Samurai on the mediums. They will have to pit again. So Eggy, it's still not fully out of the question that he can still have a good race here. But he's come out 7 seconds behind these guys. And he also has to manage these tyres for 20 laps. But if anyone can, it's Eggy. It looks like he's currently the best tyre whisperer of the field. He did it last week in Italy. So maybe he can do it again today. 8 seconds now. It looks like Adam's gaining about 7/10 on Evan each lap now. By the time we get to this part of the track. But Evan will be in soon. He's in now, actually. Wow. If he is to do the one stop, even though Eggy's also pitted 1 lap earlier, that is a long way to go on hard compound tyres. If it is hards that Evan pits onto. It is. So Adam will take the lead. Chubbs is in as well. Dello stays out. So does Christian. Evan will exit the pit lane. Still ahead of Samurai, you'd assume. Because he had that big of a gap. So there is Evan. And there is Samurai. As Chubbs also goes onto the hards. Same with Grush. So Yannick and Samurai will have to pit again. They've got a lot of work to do. The championship leader on the 2-stop. And he's still behind his rival. There's Eggy ahead of Grush. Only just. Charlie, he sees a few cars now for the first time in a while. You'd assume Christian and Dello will be pitting this or next lap. And Adam, he's still got some life left in those hards. So the gap between him and Evan, 13 seconds. Or 12.9. So yeah, Dello with the only 3-second time penalty so far. It seems like this track hasn't actually been as bad as predicted for warnings. But you never know. We're not even halfway done yet. Evan, I'm sure, will pick up the pace. And look at that. Eggy has lost 5 seconds to his teammate. Who's, pretty much on the same strategy as him. Dello in. Same with Christian. Christian pits for the hard compound tyres. Dello does the same. So yeah, after all that, Eggy's lost out to his teammate by quite a lot. So yeah, starting on the softs probably wasn't the most ideal solution. As Eggy will get ahead of Dello, but he's behind Christian. So while Christian tries to warm up those tyres, Eggy's got to try and get ahead of the McLaren. I was going to say, those who started on the softs, not exactly in the greatest position. Warren obviously disconnected. We have a yellow. Oh, is that Adam? I think Adam's just had a moment. 12.1. We might see that go down by a few seconds as Evan heads into this corner. 11.9, 10.3, 9.5. So Adam's had a big moment there, which has lost him nearly 4 seconds. He's still got his front wing, so he must have had a big slide, and he's managed to save the car, but that has lost him a lot of time. And Christian's still ahead of Eggy. Yeah, it seems like those who started on the softs, their race just isn't going that great. As much as Samurai and Yannick are 3rd and 4th, they have to pit again. So yeah, it's not very often you see someone use softs at the start of a race, and I guess that's why. So Christian has actually extended his 3/10 gap to half a second on Eggy, but Eggy will now use his DRS to try and get ahead. Christian blasting his battery to try and stay ahead. Eggy's gaining all the time. Now using his battery to go to the inside of the McLaren, and it looks like he's going to get the move done. Into turn 1, Eggy up into 6th, ahead of Christian. Dello, half a second ahead of Grush now. Charlie, nearly within a second of them lot. And Evans taking another half a second out of Adam, who heads through this corner. This time round doesn't lose the car. I honestly thought it was Warren, just causing yellows with the AI for some reason. Yeah, 8 seconds now down to 7 seconds. So Evan really looking in control here. I know Adam's going to be very quick by the end. It actually depends if he gets undercut by Chubster or Eggy. A podium still looks good for Adam though. As we have Eggy, Christian, Dello, Grush and Charlie. 6 down to 10th. All nearly within 1 second of one another. Charlie's mediums are not going to see the end of the race, definitely. And we still await for when Samurai and Yannick are going to pit. Probably by lap 20, 21, something like that. And yeah, at the moment, it looks like Warren will probably get disqualified if he doesn't join back. So everyone else scoring points. 6 seconds now. Evan really showing a dominant display here. After the unfortunate doubleheader in Italy of Imola and Monza, only scoring 10 points in both. He's really returned, and as we have just passed the halfway stage, he's not put a foot wrong so far. And Samurai and Yannick, them two, will also be pretty quick. Good. It's been a very good showing so far from Yannick, considering he came out, 3 seconds behind Samurai. It was nearly up to 4, and he's got it down to 3.6. We could be seeing Yannick's name a lot more at the top. So yeah, this is a very fine debut so far from him. And already at turn 4, when he demonstrated his overtaking abilities with Samurai and Adam on the opening lap, that was great stuff from all of them. Yeah, and we have a yellow. That's Charlie gone round, unfortunately. So he's going to fall ever further down towards the AI of Warren. He's going to carry on. 4.5 seconds now. Evan is really using those tyres. And Adam looks like he's towards the end of his life cycle with those hards. It does seem around this lap he should pit. Maybe lap 19. But I'm pretty confident this is the lap where he'll pit. And where he'll come out will be close. If he can get out ahead of Eggy, he's in at least free air. But remember, those 4 seconds he lost are going to be kind of crucial. Look at that, 3.9 now. Just see how worn those tyres are. For the Haas driver, no glitch at that part of the track now, at least. And he goes out for one more lap. Interesting. As that's Dello getting ahead of Christian now. Dello started last, up into 7th. He does have that 3 second, though. But he's got the move done on the McLaren. And now Eggy's under pressure. .6, 3.4. You can just see how much Evan's gaining in every corner. Gap seems constant between Yannick and Samurai. And, well, they're going to come out near Grush and Charlie. And they have a lot of overtaking to do in this final stage. Dello's making another move on Eggy now to the inside. Dello coming alive on these tyres. And he's up into 6th now. And now he has to try and get a 3 second gap. As Chubster's also shown some really good pace. 5 seconds ahead of Eggy. Now 9. As Chubbs going to start to close in on Yannick and Samurai. He knows he doesn't have to put up a fight as much because these two will pit. And it looks like the podium at the moment will be Evan, Adam and Chubster. Chubster might even be a net second by the time Adam comes in. 1.7 seconds now. Evan could decide to pit again at this rate and he'd still be looking in a pretty good place for victory. As Adam, round the final corners, now decides to pit. Goes very close to the wall there. We'll get it stopped. He won't speed. Evan retakes the lead on lap 20. And Adam will come in for the medium compound tyres. And it's crucial, I guess, for his sake that he comes out ahead of Dello, Eggy and Christian, who goes off there. So Adam puts the medium compound tyres on. Samurai, Yannick and Chubster get ahead. Christian now gets a penalty. And coming down the start-finish straight, where is he going to be in comparison to Dello? He should just be ahead, which he is. So those 4 seconds he lost hasn't actually lost him too much in terms of being behind drivers. He's got 8 seconds ahead of to Chubster to chase down. And, well, what would have been 4, it's a bit harder now, his situation, if he wants to get second. Chubster knows. P2 is on the cards here. And Adam should be able to pull away from these 3. As it looks like, unfortunately, Eggy is just struggling. Luckily for him, the guy ahead and behind have penalties. So a P6 is still on for Eggy. But he knows in the grand scheme of things towards Samurai and Evan and Adam and whatnot, he's losing points. I guess to Samurai it might be interesting because Samurai obviously has to pit again. 3.6, 3.5. So Yannick still doing a good job to close in on Samurai, but Chubster has caught Yannick within a second, but he's 9/10 behind starting this straight. I really doubt he'll be able to get him into turn 1, but he's blasting his battery with the DRS, but he's still not close enough. So will he try and get him sometime on this lap? The 50-meter board is gone as we head through turn 2. And you can just see how much quicker Chubster is, but he's in the dirty air of Yannick, which is sending him slightly wide. Charlie now with a 3-second penalty. So Adam is currently 19 seconds off the lead with 13 laps to go. Well, we know we've had punctures in the past for some of the top guys in Tier 2 towards the final few laps. You never know. Is Chubster going to get Yannick on this DRS straight coming up? Because the RB and the Williams are going to pit soon for another set of mediums. And it looks like Chubster's going to stay behind for now. 8 has now gone down to 6.8. Evan in full control at the moment. We'll start lap 22. 2/3 of the way done. Samurai, does he pit this lap? No. Yannick, he does pit this lap. And that frees up Chubster, who has DRS to help him slightly. So Yannick will pit for the final time in this race. And he's going to come out, what, down in 9th? He's got a lot of overtaking to do. Exits the pit lane. Grush already ahead of him. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. But considering he pitted before Samurai, and we can see how powerful the undercut is, how much is he going to gain on Samurai when he makes his pit stop? Will be an interesting development. 19 goes down to 17. That's Charlie pitting then onto mediums. Dello still ahead of Eggy, who's still ahead of Christian. Grush 4.5 behind. Samurai, look how worn that front left is. Chubster catching him quite quickly. And now Samurai will pit. Championship leader in. We're going to see how much has Yannick gained. So, Evan, since lap 20, in the lead. Chubster now up to P2, running a very good race. He knows his fight is with Adam, who's trying to hunt him down. 5.1 though, he is flying. Samurai will pit on 2 mediums to go to the end. Exits the pit lane. Grush is going to overtake him. Where is Yannick in comparison? Samurai should still be ahead, but Yannick, who was 3.5, is going to be a lot closer than that now. So 3.4 seconds goes down to about 1.8. 1.5 now. Jeez, and that's only going to get a bit smaller as Samurai tries to get temp in his tyres. 1.3 now. As these two know, they've got about 5 cars ahead of them to maybe get 4th and 5th back. Because it looks like anywhere higher than 4th is not achievable at the moment. Unless there's safety cars and whatnot. But Evan didn't do a second run, so I believe he still has a fresh set of softs. 4.3 now, after it was 5.1. It looks like Adam will catch Chubster, but catching's one thing, overtaking is another. And considering Dello, Eggy and Krishna are in a DRS train, it's going to be interesting, because it seems like Samurai and Yannick will be able to get Grush. How quickly can they dispatch these three, all in DRS of one another? Will be an interesting question. Samurai not quite within DRS of Grush, however. We'll have to try and get him on the next lap. That's not into turn 1. 1.3 it stays between them. Between Samurai and Yannick. Charlie will be trying to chase down Warren's AI car. It's Evan, 13 seconds ahead of Chubster. Adam got it down to 3.8 now. Bit of a wiggle through turn 4 on the exit. And I mean, Samurai and Yannick will know Christian and Dello have 3 seconds anyway. So Eggy knows 4th is here, I guess, potentially, if the mediums wear out too much and they can't get ahead. But Samurai, He looks close enough to maybe even get Garouche into the DRS straight, heading into the middle part of the lap, as that's Charlie getting ahead Warren's AI, who's pitted. 3.7 now, Adam to Chubster. Garouche under pressure from Samurai, but he looks far enough ahead. So it looks like Samurai will be able to get him on the main straight. Just depends how much time he loses in this last sector. He's all over the back of Garouche, but he'll want the DRS, so he'll have to stay behind for now. And he'll have to remember about the dirty air through the last couple corners. But he's got a full battery to use, and I'm sure Garouche won't put up too much of a fight. Samurai really struggling on dirty air there, and Garouche knows it, so he is going to blast his battery. And so Samurai is going to use everything to gain on the Red Bull. He knows he's got him. And down into turn 1, Samurai to the inside. It's P7 now for the championship leader. And next will be Yannick's turn. 8 laps to go then. Samurai's on the charge to try and get P4 in this race. And even if he gets up to 4th, with Evan winning, gaining 13 points on if Samurai does get 4th, I think Evan was 13 points behind heading into this race. So if Samurai does manage to get up to 4th, they will be level on points, but Evan will take the lead of the championship after having more wins than Samurai. Samurai's led the championship for every race of this season apart from one, and that one was Evan, and then he lost the lead. So it's another switchback between the Williams and the Aston Martin. 2.8 with Adam as well, who's chasing down Chubster, who's still going to be hanging on for a great podium finish. Look at that, 5 seconds up, down to 3 seconds now, as it looks like Yannick's going to definitely be able to get past the Red Bull here of Garouche, blasting his battery. And 1 lap later, Yannick will now fly past the Red Bull up into P8 and close the gap slightly between him and Samurai as well. And Dello, Eggy and Christian staying how they are at the moment. Eggy on the oldest tyres of the lot. 2.4 now for Adam. Samurai's gained nearly a second on this lap. And he can see them. Fastest middle sector of the race. If we look at fastest laps, I believe that's to Adam. 15.1. Samurai 15.5. Yannick 15.5. Very close between them. But it looks like Samurai's trying to go for another fastest lap attempt, as he's really pushing on this lap. He's got the gap over 2 seconds to Yannick. So clearly Samurai is on it. And he'll cross the line. 15.2. He's just missed out on fastest lap by a 10th. We see Eggy close to Dello, but not close enough. And how is Samurai going to manage his way through these guys? 1.7. It should be a lot easier for Adam compared to Samurai, because he's just got 1 car to overtake who doesn't have DRS. 13 seconds. To be fair, Chubster's been keeping the gap kind of constant to Evan, considering they're both on the same tyre. And they pitted on the same lap, so good stuff on Chubster. Dello now gets a second time penalty, unfortunately. Started 12th, up in 4th at the moment. Has been running a really good race besides the penalties, which is going to drop him down to maybe even 8th or 9th. Samurai, almost within a second, as that's Christian going off, struggling on the gravel. That's definitely going to put Samurai into DRS. And that's Eggy going wide, and now he's caught these guys. The dirty air and the wake is really going to put him to the test of how much he can get, how quickly he can get past these guys. He technically only needs to get ahead of Eggy, and he's got his job done. So he'll remember the dirty air. He still goes wide. That's going to give him a warning, and that's going to put him on the back foot on this straight. So he's definitely not going to get ahead of Christian this time round. Adam, 1.1. By this time next lap, he could be ahead of Chubster. And now we see what Samurai can do, because the longer he loses time, the more Yannick will also close up to these guys. Christian going wide there. As you look at that, he's got barely any battery compared to the 2 and 2 behind him. So Samurai still might be able to get ahead of Christian. And he's going to be quicker in the corners. Could we see a move in one of the most unorthodox places on the track? Not quite close enough. But he's putting Christian under big sorts of pressure. And Christian, who struggled here last lap through turn 9, this time round does it fine. They're all just on edge. The cars could lose grip at any moment, which could send them into a spin. We can see Adam now close to Chubster. I think they've just lapped Warren's AI. So, Adam, with not that much battery compared to Chubster, his first attempt trying to get the Mercedes, gaining. And to the inside goes Adam. And he'll brake later than Chubster. Chubster gives him just enough room. They bang wheels. Chubster rejoins the track and bangs wheels again to stay ahead of Adam. I mean, it was aggressive racing. Samurai's ahead of Christian now. And he's got that job done. Much easier move than P2 and P3. And yeah, I mean, Adam went for the send. Wasn't really there, so Chubster didn't give him that much room. He banged wheels with him, sending him wide. And then Chubster rejoined and banged wheels with him and sent him wide. So it looked like it was fine, aggressive racing between them. And Adam knows he can get the job done. So he'll try again. I mean, that looked just really aggressive, to be fair, but nothing really came bad of it. So, Samurai's got ahead of Christian. 1 down, 2 to go. Now Yannick will try and do the same, as Christian will probably lose DRS soon. But Samurai knows this is the main move he has to make for P4. He knows Eggy and him are separated by 2 points. So if it finishes like this, Eggy will gain 2 points on Samurai and they will be level. And actually, I think if it finishes like this, the top 3 in the World Championship will all be level on points. On 105, I think. But I'm sure that's going to change. But who knows? As there we go. Adam to the inside of Chubster. That's a lot better. And Adam's up in a P2. Now, is Samurai going to get ahead of Evan? Is Samurai going to get ahead of Eggy? Or is Eggy, like he is doing, using the slipstream and the DRS of Dello to stay ahead? Samurai versus Eggy. He's all over him. He's in the dirty air, but he's still close. He's going to use his battery. So is Eggy. Level on battery between the pair of them, pretty much. Christian's lost DRS. So Yannick should be able to get ahead. And Samurai... Whoa, just having to watch his braking there. Slight contact between him and Eggy. No love lost, though. And they're both going to be striking Dello soon. Chubster State doing well to stick with Adam, as I'm sure his mediums are going to fall off soon. 13 seconds. The gap stayed how it is between Evan and those two. Pretty much. 57, 54. Dello only has 30. Christian coming back in a DRS with these guys. Evan. Eggy. Slightly wide. But he's close to Dello now. He can use Dello to defend from Samurai if he has to. But Samurai is close here. But he has to watch out for the dirty air. 3 to go at the Spanish Grand Prix. We can see Chubster still sticking with his teammate Eggy, trying to hang on to a net P4. And he's doing brilliantly with Dello helping him into turn 1. Dello has enough straight line speed to keep them at bay, and that's allowing Eggy to keep Samurai at bay. So Samurai knows his best bet is through the corners. He's got to run now with battery, but he's not quite alongside, and he's in no position to try and make a send at the moment. Eggy parking the bus through the corners. Samurai knows he's quicker. And will he try around the outside this time? He's got a chance. Round the outside goes Samurai on much better tyres, but Eggy just hanging on to P5, but they're still wheel to wheel, and now Eggy slightly ahead. That's going to put him on the back foot, though, as Samurai gets the switchback heading into turn 9. The Williams versus the Mercedes. Samurai round the outside gets the move done. Great move from the Williams ahead. But Eggy is going to fight back, and is Samurai now going to be under pressure because he's not within a second of Eggy. That was great stuff, though, for Samurai to get ahead. But Eggy might be back ahead because Samurai is not within a second of Dello. Chubster still sticking with on the penultimate lap. Right, what can Eggy do? He doesn't have that much battery compared to Samurai, but he's going to give it everything, and he's gaining a lot, and Samurai realises this, so Eggy's coming back for the fight. And which way will he go? He's going to go to the outside like he tried on the opening lap. Samurai still slightly ahead. To the inside. Slight contact between them. Eggy back round the outside. Leaves the space for Samurai, who has to go off the track nearly. And Eggy's back ahead. Good racing between them. And Christian's under big pressure from Yannick, who will fly back ahead of the McLaren. So great stuff from Eggy to be back ahead now of the Williams. As Yannick under pressure still from Christian. Will shut the door and stay ahead now in P7. Which will turn into a net 6th. Christian with a penalty. Won't really change anything. And now because Eggy doesn't have DRS, will Samurai decide to stay behind here? Well, with the dirt, yeah, I think he might have to. Yannick's putting him under pressure, though, and Eggy is going to be under big pressure. They have the same amount of battery. Yannick has a bit more battery. Evan has started his final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Adams actually closed the gap down a bit to him, and Chubbs is still doing really well to stick with. Dello, unfortunately, 4th, is going to turn to 7th by the end of this race, as we have a fight for net P4 with Eggy, Samurai, and Yannick. As they start their final lap, Samurai is going to blast absolutely everything. That's Charlie with causing a yellow. And it looks like Samurai is going to gain enough on Eggy, who goes defensive. Samurai is going to breeze past to the left and looks like he has enough room to get up in a 4th. And Eggy, try as he might, has dropped down to 5th. Now he's got to defend from Yannick. And Eggy's one chance to get back ahead of Samurai will be on the DRS straight before the end of Sector 2. But it looks like Samurai's got him covered. And he's done just enough. Good fighting between them. Got their elbows out. And Yannick pushing all he can to try and overtake Eggy and take 2 more points away. As we're looking at the fight for net 4th. Adam has got Chubster out of a second for 2nd. But it's been a brilliant race from Navek 11. He's got the confidence back 1 week after a very poor result in Italy. 1 week later, he's dominated in Barcelona. Navek wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Adam round the final corner will make it P2 as the front row intended, but he's had to work for it. P2 for Adam, a podium for Chubster as well. As we look to the fight for 4th again, yeah, Eggy's lost some time, but he'll still just hang on to Yannick. Dello will finish 4th on track. It will drop him down to 7th. Samurai managed to recover to finish 4th. Eggy will finish 5th. Yannick on debut will get P6. Great effort from the RB. Dello will drop to 7th. Christian 8th. Grush, bit of a lonely race at the end in 9th. Charlie finished 10th. Warren will get disqualified. And unfortunately, Kobe retired early on. But yeah, a great dominant display from Evan to give himself the win and the championship lead. I'm pretty sure. After 8 rounds. Evan very happy with that win. I was going to double check now. So yeah, Evan was 13 points behind Samurai heading into today. And now he's level on points with him. But because he has more wins, Evan back in the lead of the championship for the 2nd race this season. Eggy, who was 2 points behind Samurai, will now be 4 points. So the top 3 are covered by 4 points. And a gap between 1st and 2nd that I don't think has been above 7 points all season now is nothing, really. 0 points. Yeah. So, it was Samurai and Yannick who tried the 2-stop, who finished in the top 9. Charlie tried as well. But yeah, Evan held the lead into turn 1 and never looked back, really. And in terms of Mercedes versus Williams in the championship, well, Mercedes have definitely outscored Williams today. Really good race from Chubster there. Considering he was 5th or 6th, so managed to get up to 3rd. Good stuff from him. Right, let's get the top 3 in. Hope you all enjoyed that race. Next week will be Austria. Should be very interesting. Right, Evan, Adam, Chubster. Right, we have the race winner joining the party now. along with P3, and Adam should be joining in a sec too. Right. Clearly you're there, Evan. Have you included your audio, mate?
Yeah.
Chubster, have you included your audio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Adam will join in a minute. We'll start off with you, Chubster. P3. Very, very good race from you to grab another podium for this season. It was 5th in qualifying, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the start you dropped to 6th. Just take us through quali and the race from your perspective. How do you think it went?
I think it went well. I just was still behind Adam, but I kind of touched some dirt, so I kind of lost it. I have another chance. But everything was good. Yeah. A lot of bumping,
You're
though.
third.
I didn't get no warnings of hitting people, though, so if I get a penalty, I didn't do crap.
No, it looked fine. It was elbows out, but oh, by the way, how many warnings did you get that race?
I won.
1. Evan, how many did you get that race?
Absolutely nil. Nothing.
Fair enough.
Not one.
So yeah, Adam qualified 5th, dropped to 6th. You started on the mediums, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Ah, there's Adam. Yeah, a few who started on the softs, it just didn't seem like it went their way today. Whether they tried the 1-stop like Eggy or had to do the 2-stop like Samurai and Yannick. So that allowed the medium runners to carry on. You came out of the pit lane 5 seconds ahead of your teammate, and then about 5 laps later went up to 9 seconds. You had extremely good pace. You were lapping the same pace as Evan. It just stayed how it was. And then Adam was in the lead by like 12 seconds. Through, the DRS straight in the middle of the lap, he made a big like slide and lost 4 seconds. He was lucky not to put it in the wall. So that fighting you two had probably would have happened a lot earlier if he didn't make that mistake. And yeah, the first time he tried to get ahead of you, as much as like he hit you and then you hit him, it just like aggressive, fair, hard racing. So I don't think anything will come from that. And then the next lap anyway, he got ahead, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, you still held on for 3rd. Great haul of points. Really helping Mercedes in the championship as well. You both got 25 points over Williams' 12. So gaining 13 helps you close the gap a bit for the constructors. As for the drivers, I think you move a bit closer to the likes of Kobe and Josh and whatnot. So that's good.
Yeah.
Next week is Austria, which has been, I think, an alright track for you in the past. How are you feeling for that one?
I don't have to say anything.
Fair enough. Should be interesting. But yeah, well done today. P3, 3rd, like I said, 3rd podium of the season. So annoyingly, I think for you do extend that record of most podiums without a win. This is your 7th podium, I think, now. But who knows? Austria might be the one that breaks the deal. But yeah, well done today. Moving on to P2. Adam, are you there, mate?
Yeah.
Have you included your audio?
Yeah.
All right, Adam. P2 today. Once again, unfortunately, it was another front row, but unfortunately, it just wasn't your first pole again. I'm guessing the last run, what exactly happened?
I'd used most of my battery coming into sector 3, and I was like even on the delta, and then I think just coming around one of the last corners, I had a little slide and like towards a double right-hander. I was about 10th and a half down, so I just bailed out of the lap.
That's fair. And so you started 2nd. You were the only driver to start on the hard compound tyres. So I'm going to guess you knew you were going to fall a bit backwards before gaining them back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had that great 3-wide battle at turn 4 with Samurai and Yannick. In the end, you were 5th of the 2nd to 5th train, and then suddenly I caught you at the very end of it at turn 5 with grass on your tyres, and you dropped down to like 7th or 8th. What happened there?
I think it's just really lucky and going into the corner.
So it was just on you, like it wasn't anyone else.
No.
Okay, fair. So that dropped you down to 8th, but then as soon as that happened, as much as you also came alive, I'm guessing it was that point where the hards were just the best tyre out of the 3. So that allowed you to gain 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, a few others pitted, and you were right up there again, leading. And then, yeah, like I just mentioned, the gap was 12 seconds between you and Evan, and then it suddenly went to 8th. I'm going to guess you had a moment.
Yeah.
Was it
It was a
one
big
where you nearly crashed, or
it was a big slide. I don't really know
big
how it happened.
slide?
It's just going into the corner and then the ray just went.
Mm. But it was a good long first stint, and then you were on the mediums. You came out ahead of that train led by Dello, which was good, and then you chased down Chubster. The first attempt, little wheel banging, but the second attempt was fine. How'd you find that fight?
It was good. Initially, I thought I was going to catch him with quite a lot of laps left, but I didn't really. I think it's just tire degradation and just going a bit slower every now and then.
That's fair. But then, yeah, you managed to get Chubster with, I think, 3 or so laps to go.
Yeah.
And Chubster did pretty well to stick with until the last lap in DRS, so that was good. Just showed the tyres pretty much evened out by then, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's P2. Another top 2 finish. I believe, is that every race apart from Italy now you finished first or second?
Yeah.
So every race you finish this season, it's first or second, which is really strong. So that puts you from 68 to 86 points. Will put you ahead of Grush. So you're 4th in the championship now. Obviously, you have Eggy, Samurai, and today's race winner ahead of you. Moving on to Austria next week out. How are you feeling for that one?
Not exactly one of my strongest tracks, so we'll have to do a lot of practice for it.
That's fair. I'm sure you'll still be very strong fighting up at the front. I'll take a minute to add the biggest shock of today, both in quali and the race, was just Kobe. I have no idea. I fully expected a similar performance last week. Fight for pole, fight for the win, but he qualified 11th and he retired after a few. Real halt in his momentum. So maybe next week he'll bounce back. But yeah, bit of a shock. So that's allowed. This is what I was pointing out. Last week, both Evan and Adam retired. This week, they lock out the front row and finish 1-2. So that's one way to make a bit of a statement. So very well done today. And yeah, moving on to our race winner in the Aston Martin, Evan.
Hello.
Your 3rd win of the season of the 8 races. It was you on 2, Adam on 2, Kobe on 2, Samurai on 1, and now you have the most of them in season 11 of 3. And out of the 3, how satisfying is this one?
Well, I think this one might be the best one. I think it might be the best one, and it might be it's the best one because it's just I had no confidence last week whatsoever going into the race, and I was sure as hell lacking it today, and well, I did that, so that's very nice.
Yeah, you've had, I think, 3. I think this might be your 4th pole of the season now, so half the races. And most of them, in fact, I think all of them, you've been heading into the last runs, you've been a bit on the back foot, or, you're not on provisional pole. And then that last run, something happens where you just find so much time, get it all together, and perfect a great lap like that to take pole by 2/10, which was great. And clearly, the passion's there. You're showing a lot of great emotion, which is great to see. So pole position, and then you're on the mediums, the top three different tyres. When you saw Adam on the hards, did that give you a bit more realisation that, yeah, I can definitely lead into turn 1, even if Eggy's 3rd with softs?
I mean, no disrespect to Adam. I didn't think he was gonna shoot up the field and get side by side with me, but I thought that it was gonna be pretty comfortable. I did think that it was gonna be comfortable.
Yeah.
I was still being put under pressure by, I think Samurai was 3rd and Eggy was 2nd, and I thought, well, because they're on softs and I'm on mediums, they're gonna have a lot more traction getting off the line than me. So and I think that was the case for Eggy, because I saw him just absolutely shoot off behind me. I think it was, and he got side by side on the outside, but I don't know what happened with him down at the turn one. It looked like it just went a bit deep. So
yeah, because since turn 1, or I guess 2, you just never looked back. Yeah, Eggy tried to move round your outside. It looked like it was going to stick. It looked like he also went a bit deep. You had the momentum and the line to just hang on. And yeah, since then, Eggy looked like he struggled early out. Looked like he was trying to tyre save because he was the last one to pit on like lap 12 for the softs. So that let you get a nice gap. And then it just, yeah, that was the surprising and amazing thing. You're on mediums, those guys on softs, they might have swapped a bit and whatnot, but you just kept extending the gap. 2.9, 5.4, nearly 10 seconds. Very, very impressive first stint. And then when Adam was in second, the gap kind of stayed how it was. Adam slowly gained on you, then you pitted, gained on him, then he pitted, and I think the gap kind of stayed how it was between you and Chubster, and then Adam got ahead, so the gap was like 10 seconds by the end. So it was the same as it pretty much was before Adam started gaining. So it was solid, good pace, but what really made you the winner today was those first opening, however many laps. So yeah, great pace, great pole, great win, and yeah, you now lead the world championship.
Yeah.
So you went into today 13 points behind Samurai. You've come out of today gaining 13 points on Samurai. So you two are level on points, but obviously you have more wins. So that puts you back ahead. 8 races done. Samurai's led 6. You've now led 2. And Eggy's 4 points behind both of you. So very close. I don't think, because you and Samurai have been 1-2 for most of the season, I don't think the gap between the top 2 has actually gone higher than 7 points at all this season. So it's extremely close. And 8 races in, you're pretty much back where you were at round 1, level on points. So it's great to see. You strike back after an unfortunate race last week. And you also DNF'd in Saudi, didn't you, because of turn 4?
Oh,
yeah,
honestly, completely forgot that Saudi was even a race.
Even after all that, you're still back in the lead of the championship. You two have now broken the 100-point board, so I think you're both on 105 now. 107? Yeah, 107. So yeah, brilliant stuff today. And yeah, how are you feeling about Austria next week?
I'm I'm confident. I hope. After that race, when I think I think the confidence has come back. But can I also just add on real quick? I reckon if it was a 34 lap race, Adam would have had me because my front lefts, around lap 32, they were 75%, and in that last lap, I tried to stay off every curve I could, and I think I finished the race. The front left was on about 83%, so it
Wow.
was gonna go. I just got
Wow.
saved.
Would have been interesting, considering there was a 10-second gap, how much you actually would have lost if it was a slow puncture or an immediate puncture or not. Because those last few corners aren't easy with 4 intact tyres. So if one of them was not intact, it could have been interesting, especially if it was a rear tyre. But if it was a front, I think you would have been just about okay. But either way, yeah, we head to Austria. Obviously, your older brother, the Tier 2 champion, Austria and Mexico are some of his best tracks where he's displayed why he's a champion. So I think Spain will have to be up there for why you're leading this championship at the moment. So yeah, great performance today. Well done, Adam. Well done, Chubster, on the podiums. And yeah, we'll see all of you next week for the Austrian Grand Prix.